Good evening, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thanks to those of you who have been rocking with me for a year. Man, I'm super excited about this anniversary. And if you're a recovering procrastinator, you understand the power of doing things consistently. And being able to do it for a year straight is the bomb. Okay. Absolutely the bomb. So, just as you guys have seen me do over the course of season three, I am tinkering as well again in terms of the technology. I am using a slightly different platform this go round. Shout out to Matthew Will. Thanks so much for stopping in, bro. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah. And just very briefly, like I'm going to get into this amazing celebration. Sorry, it's kind of boring without the music. But we are on YouTube right now, and yeah, I want to make sure the video actually stays up. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just want to give you guys a lay of the land real quick. As with any episode, I'm gonna give you some food for thought. Won't necessarily dive too deep into it today, but I'm presenting it to you. Then after I do that, we'll get into some conversations. I've got some folks that are regular listeners to the show that are stopping in to say what's up. I've got previous interview guests that have been on the show before. So if you guys have questions for them, this is the time to ask it when they come on. And before I bring the guests on, I also have an Ask Me Anything. Like this is an AMA kind of thing, y'all. Like whatever questions you guys have for me, whether that's personal questions about me that you want to know, or of course, questions about what you're dealing with about your luxury item that you're working on, by all means, ask them in the chat, and you see me, I'm responding in real time. So yeah, appreciate you guys for joining in on the celebration. We'll eventually do one of these in person so we can actually have the music there. You know what I mean? But yeah, first thing I do want to say is thank you so very much for those of you who have been rocking with me for this full year, including a gentleman who is already here super early, and we'll definitely chat with him in a minute to hear his take on the show and how the show has impacted him. But I wanted to thank all of you who have left comments, who have watched the show and applied it in your life, and you've chosen to let me know what that impact has been. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sam too. He's another day one. Sam is the bomb. um, Thanks for the microphone thing there. I love that. That's cute. Yeah. So wanted to, thank you guys for rocking with me. Shout out to Unique. She's already here. We'll be talking to her. She's one of our guests, guys. Because of course she was a previous interview guest on this show. So I wanted to also bring those guys on and let you know what they're up to now, what their lessons have been for beating procrastination, and what nuggets they can share with you. And of course, the opportunity for you guys to ask them questions. When I had them on the show, it was pre-recorded, so I had them all to myself, which is why I invited them on now. That way you guys get to ask them your questions in real time. So real quick, I'm going to give you guys that bit of food for thought. And this is something that I'm recently discovering, learning, considering in my own life experience. One of the most common threads that I've been seeing in my research as it relates to productivity and beating procrastination is the subject of ADD and ADHD. That's been coming up a lot in my research. And at first, I wasn't thinking anything of it from a personal standpoint. I knew I was going to cover it on the show because it's connected to procrastination, and we're bullying procrastination. So we want to bully it from all angles. But it wasn't until recently that I started considering that maybe your girl might have it. I don't know. There's nothing official. But just based on the research and based on some of the symptoms that are listed, I was like, I kind of deal with these more commonly than I realize. So, if you're someone who struggles with procrastination and it relates to your attention span, or if you feel a sense of overwhelm very easily, and shout out to Unique, she's responding in the chat because she knows about this. Okay. Now, unlike me, she has the full credentials to talk to you guys about it because she has been diagnosed with ADHD and has studied it. She said, welcome. I don't know, Unique. I don't know. I don't know if that's a club I want to be a part of. But one thing I will say though is that you guys are geniuses. E.T. the hip hop preacher actually imparted a great bit of knowledge to a gentleman named Gersh Kim, who is a phenomenal physical therapist. He's a physical therapist to celebrities now. And he was diagnosed with ADHD. And what E.T. told him was ADHD is not a disease, like it's not a disability. It's actually a superpower that you have over others as long as you get it under your control, because you will outwork everybody else because you have a level of energy that they don't. So this is where I'm like, I don't know if that's me. I'm someone that values my sleep. And my energy levels are relatively like in the middle somewhere, you know what I mean? So I'm not overly hyperactive with it, but I do tend to get passionate about the stuff that I'm interested in. So who knows? We shall see. Y'all stay tuned for that. But a quick recap of the lay of the land. That was the food for thought. I wanted to present that to you if that's something you've never considered either, as it relates to your journey in beating procrastination and becoming more productive. Perhaps you're exhibiting some of those symptoms and you're like, oh, wait, like this is actually more common than I thought, more common for me than I thought. So just wanted to present that to you. Of course, do your research, talk with the people in your life who either have it or have expertise in how to treat it. That way you have a better idea of how you roll through the world, how you relate to information, and how you emote as well. Because sometimes there's some emotional stuff going on with that as well. And so that was the food for thought. Wanted to present that to you. Now we getting into the conversations. So I'm going to start with a loyal listener from day one, and then I'll get into a couple of the coaching clients that I've had the privilege and honor of working with, and give you their feedback. From there, we'll get into some of the previous interview guests, and by all means, the chat is here, so you'll be able to ask questions of anybody I'm talking to. This is a live stream, so you have that luxury. Okay. And then lastly, at the very end of the episode, after all of the interview guests are wrapped up, I have a huge, huge, exciting announcement to share with you guys. So please stay tuned to the end to hear that, especially if you're somebody that has a message within you and you need to get it published. Like, stay tuned till the end. Okay. But real quick, I'm going to bring on a day one, y'all, like a day one. This is a gentleman who I consider him my brother. Like, he and I are in the same mastermind together. And like, we've been bouncing off of each other either through text or through the YouTube comments. But without further ado, I'm going to bring on the one and only MJ.
Man with two L's, what's going on, sis?
Hey, doing good, MJ. Thanks so much for joining me, taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me this evening, man. So just real quick, for the audience, in case there's anybody that's watching this for the first time, they're not familiar with the procrastination bully. They have no idea what the heck is going on, but like, just give them your thoughts of your impression of the show and how it's impacted you so far over the last year.
Oh man. My thoughts on the show. One, it is cool to see a friend go a year straight, not caring about what the comments are, not caring what the views are, but taking a skill, because whether you know or not, Mel does have not just a military background, but a background in media and journalism. Taking that and I'm gonna get a little spiritual, using that gift to make room for her and not quitting that consistency, that persistence. I think that's dope. So for me, it don't take much. You give me a little, just a little bit of salt, and my food is the bomb. And that's what this show has kind of been for me. And maybe one week it was just like, hey, just put a little dab of this hot sauce on there. And so it's been some great nuggets. I I at first started with "You are a luxury item," and I was like, "That's a good way to look at myself. I am a luxury item. Let me go ahead and walk in that." Others were it just depended on it, not dependent, but no matter who the guest was, everything was just of such, I don't even want to use the words gems, but there's so much just value. It's one thing to be around like-minded people, but to be around beneficial like-minded people, and
That
to be able to
part.
use everything that's being thrown out. Because I mean, military background again, you can be around like-minded people. I want to wear the uniform and do the thing, but like this don't really benefit me because I see that y'all thinking. I'm not saying that you're better than anybody, but like we're thinking at two different levels, and I now see that our like-mindedness just sounds alike, but our minds are not alike. We are not aligned. We are not
That part.
equally yoked in that part. And again, it's not about being like better than anybody else, but for me, this has been my takeaways. One big one was like just small things I didn't know about myself because you had Demise on here. I'm about to mess up his name, so I'm not going to say it. But African
What was the
gentleman.
subject matter? What was the subject matter?
So it was a lot of subjects. African gentleman though from the
Oh,
mastermind.
Ben.
Ben,
Ben.
yes,
Yeah.
Ben. When he talked about, he had spoke on something about with relationships, not just intimate, but like with his mother and with business and how that all. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was there until he said that, and I was like, okay. So I jot things down. I was like, all right, new application of information. When you know something, when you know better, you do better. So now that I'm not just watching the comment, and I mean, yeah, I'm definitely gonna love, I'm gonna support, but I'm like, these are checks. I'm a pilot, high pilot. I know you guys
Yep.
have seen it, been taught it,
Yep.
and so I am cockpit door closed, eyes straight forward. But even when you talk to Ray, that was something I benefited from because I walked away from being like, oh, I can be a fighter pilot. And then right now, I definitely identify as a fighter pilot. And that's part of some of the work I've done in the military. I talk to pilots and we call them fast movers, but their eyes are always ahead. The door is closed. And I'm like, you need to mature as a pilot because the African proverb says we can go fast alone, we can go further together. And if I'm going to be someone's pilot and give them direction where they need, I need to start gearing up, get recertified to fly a C5 so we can put a city in the back and I carry the whole
Fast.
team to where they need to go.
Yeah.
So I think as a check is trying to mature, trying to grow, this has been my weekly stop. I'm like, all right, where are you at? What don't
Wow.
you know? What do you need to hear? Even expansion of my faith. I wish I had brought it out as a prop, but I not carry much to see wherever I go because that's all you need. Just need that little bit of faith. So I get the best of everything. I get how to mature. Don't be a little boy, be a man. Where's your faith at? How do you apply uh, business knowledge, personal growth, spirituality all in one? Because I think about like the work of Adam. God created him and he said, go to work. And that wasn't like play in the dirt and do it. It was, no, become what I need you to become. People miss
Hmm.
that. Like, yo, that was actually like first Jesus. That was Jesus the first.
That.
And then he kind of messed that up. And actually, it's funny because me getting in the Word and the Bible and watching the show, a friend of mine, he was like, "Well, why God punished all the snakes?" I was like, "Well, punished all the humans. Like you just can't. The species witnessed it. We all saw it. So you just can't walk away from that and be like, well, just the one. Like, no, no, no. This whole thing now done seen and messed it up. And if one, I can't stop being God. So if I say it for one, it's for everybody. That is
Yep.
my rule.
Yep.
And that's another thing with procrastination. You set some rules and stick to it. Set your rules and stick to it. I think in our last face-to-face conversation, I kind of we were at the picnic and I was like, yeah, I broke some rules and it got me in a situation, but I own up to it. I got to man up to it. And it's not even I got to mature into what my decision making was, and not have to
Hmm.
make decisions to progress me out of this. And so, yeah, this show has been a check on learning, a check on life, because I drain easily talking to people. When I want to talk to you, high energy, but then I still got to pour back into me. So I take this show and that's I fill my cup. I'm like, okay, where do we go forward? And also spread the knowledge to others because a lot of people won't take the time to dive in and sit on stuff. Like we'll flip through all the other things, but like I set my alerts. I get in the wind, I get S2S, I get R to
Yes.
R, and a couple pastors that I listen to. And now, thank God, it's Monday is back. I get that one too.
Yes.
So, and that's why I was like, oh, if you ain't heard it, I got something for you. You need to realize if you do, it's a superpower, which is great. I was glad when that piece of information came out because it's something I told my brothers. There's nothing wrong with you. I can clearly see you love tech. You love wires. So focus your energy there, and that's where it all lies. Even as I study chapter 4 of the book of Ephesians right now, everybody was given a gift by God for us to basically unite in unity and walk that same path. And I'm like, okay, it's clear as day. The fact that I have to study this and then present on it, and then now we're talking about this, and then I take everything. I'm like, okay, I have a gift. I need to walk that, but I need to focus that in, again, be a mature pilot. How do I help the body? Because I can't be a head, arm, leg, toes by myself. Everybody has an individual role to play. It's just a beautiful thing. So I'm grateful for the show. I'm grateful for the project. Grateful I got to know you. Because I don't know if this would have been in a search. I don't know how the algorithm would have brought it to me. But me knowing, staying connected to the source,
that part,
I'm always getting energy now. And I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. Like life has been great. Little backstory. When I met Melissa, I literally had gotten off a plane from Somalia. So you can start putting together what my background is. And I knew one thing for sure. I was like, I know I'm headed back. I'm not in the best mind state right now. I'm not me. My smile is not my smile. And instantly sat across rough and tough with the Afro puff at the table. And she immediately saw like, yo, you were trying so hard and you're missing it. This is the note you missed. Cause I see you over with the etch and sketch. Cause I was just like, I need something like this area of me ain't right. And it's messing with this area. And I'm just not me. I wasn't happy. I was angry and pissed off. That's not how I roll. And yeah, Melissa did work. And it started with just some notes, evolved into me being the channel watcher. And I'm always trying to be in the comment, like, say that, do that again. Typo, sorry. But it's been a blessing. So I wish y'all the well. And I can't wait for, we on season 3. So go ahead and make that by 10. And I'm ready for studio production at this point.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. We're moving in that direction. So appreciate you. Thank you so much for being transparent too, for sharing the show's impact on you and a little bit of what you've been experiencing in your own life. So much appreciated. Keep commenting.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, y'all. What I'm going to do now is transition over to one of my dearest friends. I kind of consider her like one of those like unofficial sisters, like not by blood, but like we close. So shout out to her. Like she and I, we went to the same church for a very long time, and she was generous enough, gracious enough to allow me into her life and share insights in terms of some of the things that she's been struggling with as it relates to her luxury items. She has several. Like she is somebody who is highly creative, and that is her superpower. So I was like, all right, we need to get to work. God has some stuff that he's got to pull out of you. So we got to work, and I want to say it's been about 4 months or so. I want to say we started in April. So without further ado, I'm going to bring to the stage Miss Barbara Fortillis, who is the creative director of, one second. Let me get this straightened out a little bit. Sorry, y'all. There we go. Ooh. Hey, Marbs.
Hey, girl. Congratulations on your year anniversary. That's awesome.
Thank you. So yeah, just so y'all know, God Tent Social is the name I was trying to come up with. She is the creative director of God Tent Social. That is her company. So yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for taking the time. My mom is in the chat. She said, hey, stranger.
How are you doing? Hi, Mama. Nice.
Absolutely. I'm doing well. I'm super excited. How are things for you, and how how has our journey together been for you? Like, what are some of the improvements that you've seen so far as it relates to your goals?
Ooh, that's a good question. We talked about a lot. I
We
mean,
did. We did.
there's been so much. I'm a talker, so I've kind of go into our meetings spewing everything on you, and then you'll be like, okay, and you'll always come back with some nuggets. But I think one of the biggest things for me is there has been like a lot of stuff happening in my personal life of just like transition. And I think we started talking in some of the desires for the transition. The transition didn't happen as of yet, but you helping me to change my perspective, change my mindset, change the way I view things, having a different outlook on how I thought something conspired. So uh, letting go of certain things in the past, embracing the newness of like this new space that I'm gonna get spiritual to that God has me in. So like I was literally having to let go of the girl in her 20s.
Mhm.
Um, I was a person that who juggled a lot of stuff. Again, maybe jack of a lot of trades. Felt like I should still be doing those things. Felt like I should be still doing like spoken word and events and all the things that were really exciting to me and what I thought success was. You know, like dirt,
Mhm.
but like before the pandemic. And then it took me a really long time to get over that. It took me a long time to just, I guess, maybe I was grieving that this entire time before we
Right.
started
Yeah.
talking. Maybe I thought I wasn't living up to my life standards before we started talking. And then in the midst of us kind of meeting up weekly, you helped me to recognize like, one, what are some things that I could continue to like bring before the Lord? What things I can let go of? How do I make my life a little bit more simplified? Because I was just a busybody doing too much. Now I'm a girl in her 30s. Yeah, it's a different stage of life. It's a different space that I'm in. It's a different, like, I'm not in the same location. I'm not around the same people. I'm not doing the same stuff. And it's okay to let those things go, but still find out like what God has for you in this new season. So you've helped me to yeah, I am also a kind of a major procrastinator for sure. So when I am like overwhelmed with like a bunch of ideas or have all the stuff up here and I'm kind of confused and I'm conflicted or I'm stuck in all of my ideas, you have mentioned that I should write stuff down. Not just write things down, but like bring them before God. Like, which one is it? You know, there are a lot of different people who would, you know, go like. There's this message out there, like, go get it, go get it, go get it, like hustle, hustle, hustle. But in spending time with Melissa, it's like let's not. I mean, yes, go get whatever God has for you, but let's figure out which one is it. Like, where are you gonna go get? Is it everything
That.
that's here? Everything that's just like all the ideas that you have, but like go before the Lord and figure out what are some things that He's asking you to let die, and what are some things that He's putting in your life now, and what are some things that you can continue. And so that was extremely helpful. Me putting that into practice, me coming back with some like results. How did this go? How did you know? And I would have to kind of admit to certain things that went well and things that didn't.
Accountability, y'all.
So there is definitely a lot of accountability there as well. But that was I think one of the things that really highlighted our time together is the accountability piece. Even there's like certain projects with Gossip Social. Um, I think I was going through some like fatigue. Like I was just picking up clients right after client, not giving myself breaks. And so when I just couldn't get through like building a website for somebody or get through one of the creative projects that I had to do for someone, you sat there with me. You like, let's pick a time, pick an hour. We're gonna do a work block together.
Yep.
And then if she sees me fidgeting, like looking at like, hey, are you what you doing? Like so
Yep.
you know, a legit accountability partner helping me to like stay focused and push past the procrastination because like I felt like I wanted to be lazy. I felt like I didn't want to do something based on like my stress, based on I have my side business. I also have a full-time job. Like you're just so busy doing so many things. You're so tired. And so sometimes that can contribute to why you feel overwhelmed or feel like you want to procrastinate or just be lazy. So how do you clear up your plate, and how do you really put things on a schedule? How do you really make time for yourself to rest and also make time to do your projects? Yeah. And then she had all this wisdom from books that she read. Like, she was just spitting game,
Right.
Yeah, there's always information and wisdom that she's always giving. And then she's also real too. Like in those real moments, you're not telling me things I need to hear. You're telling me things that you're not telling me things I want to hear, but you're telling me things that I need to hear. Just challenging me in some of the ways that I think about certain things too. So yeah, Melissa, very helpful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what I mean? What's interesting is that we're quite similar, y'all. Like you heard her talk about, kind of being all things, like being involved in a lot of stuff. That's what happens when you're multi-hyphenate and you're multi-talented. You'll want to serve over here and over here and over there, even though you're like this spread thin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's important to have that person in your corner that's kind of like, wait, let me holler at you. Very lovingly, but let me holler at you. Let me tug on your ear for a few minutes. But yeah, Barb, thank you so much for stopping by and celebrating with me. I appreciate you. And thanks for building with me as well in terms of sharing your life with me and allowing both of us to hold each other accountable and build both spiritually and professionally. Appreciate you.
Anytime. For those who have not taken the time to get coaching from Melissa, stop procrastinating. Okay. Yep.
Love it.
Marketing piece. All right, y'all.
Amen. Take care. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. So I've got a couple of guests that are waiting in the wings, previous guests on the show. So some of them have come in a specific sequence, but this gentleman right here, I got to bring him on because he was my very, 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 very first guest. I'm talking slowly because he is setting up right now. And I love what he did too. Like my dude is here backstage rocking the shirt. So I love this. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one and only Raymond Jones. Ray.
There we go.
What is up?
Man, I was just listening on your was it Barbara?
Yeah.
I was listening on that. So it took me, I had it up on my phone and I was and then I looked up and saw the time. I was procrastinating a little bit.
Caught him. Got him.
Oh, geez. Well, sis, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
I honestly, I can't believe it's been a year. But that just shows you how much time flies and how much time we don't have.
That part.
To procrastinate. But how's it been going? You've been on for what, like 30 minutes, 35 minutes already? Had a few guests. My brother MJ, I saw that.
Yes.
I need to give him a call. As a matter of fact, that's my brother.
Absolutely.
But I mean, congratulations. There's not a whole lot you can say other than this. You can see them by their fruits.
Yes.
And what you've planted and what's grown and where you've gone with this. We talked the other day and I was like, what else is going on? What is it? And you're like, yo, the pod is what's going on. The community is what's going on. So going from idea to conception to fruition and seeing the product and the efforts of your energy and consistent time putting in on this is obviously just the beginning. So yeah, he said I was thinking the same thing, bro. Literally yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, thank you for your help and quick thinking, even on the day. Just like a quick BTS, y'all, like just a fun fact for our interview. We were in person in Atlanta because we were there for ET's Forward. Plus, was that also a mastermind day? I think that was also a mastermind day. So yeah, like we had met up and had the mastermind
Yeah.
afterwards. And I brought all the gear. Okay. Y'all know ATC, right? So I'm like, details, detail central. I brought all of my gear. None of that is helpful on the move. Okay. Ray though was quick on his feet. He and Rye, if you guys remember, this is one half of the R2R podcast, The Road to Results. And they were doing their podcast on location in Atlanta as well. So Ray has an iPhone. Rye had the mic that plugs right in. So like we just set up his iPhone on my car and we did that interview, like first interview for the show ever. And it was a brief one, but man, you dropped so many powerful gems in it. So I super, super appreciate you. It's been a blast and an honor knowing you over the last year and seeing how you've grown and built what you've been doing with breaking formation, plus some of the other business stuff that you've got going on. Yeah, like the door is always open for you, Ray. You already know that. I'm the procrastination bully, but I've always dubbed you the good bully. So you know what I'm saying? Like we can bully our people together
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they can continue to
Absolutely.
grow.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's I mean, one, it's been a year. Like um both the highs and the lows, the lessons learned, and some of them fully embraced, and other ones just like, I'm ready for this one to be over. I
Facts.
either way.
Facts.
But that's part of that intentional growth. That's part of I was just reminding myself and looking up, what is procrastination? That's just delaying something. And I think
Hmm.
a big part of like procrastinating, it's not even a big part of it. It's honestly um part of this journey and this effort of the past year has really been digging into, even what Barbara was just talking about. It's like the spiritual foundation, that foundation of faith, that foundation of understanding, and not just reading the word, but studying it. And what does this mean?
Right.
And being in school with it. And procrastinating just comes from fear of the unknown. Like, if I do this, then what? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I have an idea of what could come up, but now's not the right time. Maybe here, but scripture it tells you that a farmer doesn't look to the sky to see like when the rain is coming. It's just like there's seasons to plant. There's seasons where you just have to do things and you have to stay with it to continue to produce a harvest that no matter what lies ahead, you're never going to know. And
That.
and I've been leaning back into the piece of like, I think it's Romans 8:24, where it says a man doesn't hope for what he can see. So if I
Mm,
if I knew this was coming, if I knew if you knew this was gonna happen, that you're gonna be hitting your year anniversary, like there'd never be a hesitation of starting it. There never being a procrastinator. Is now the right time? Like, should
mhm.
we do this here at this event? If you knew that before we got there, you would have been like, hey, I need you, I need Rye, I need Guy, I need MJ. I need everybody. I need to line these up because a year from now we're going to be having a conversation about how productive and how fruitful this has been, not just for me and my own growth, but for my community of people that are out there as recovering procrastinators. Those are the
Absolutely.
things that you start to look for, because at the end of the day, the unseen is always what's going to hold, or the unknown is always what's going to hold people back from moving forward with any type of desire that God has put in their heart or that they have for their own lives. And
True
it
that.
doesn't save you from anything. The only thing that keeps you from is those lessons, those very exciting ones, and some of those ones that are just hard taught. And those ones that are hard are the ones that you're able to pass on and help other people with. Those, that's what becomes your testimony. And your
Exactly.
testimony is not your own. That's how you move in to help somebody else. You said, I'm a recovering procrastinator. So now I'm out here
Facts.
trying to help people
Yes.
not procrastinate and get to the things that we know you're capable of. You just need to be pushed and realize that procrastination does nothing but delay.
That's it. That's it.
Mama
That was a whole
Thomas, Mrs.
that's a whole
Rosalie.
my oh yeah. Did you see that? She said
That's
that can only be my son. I love
yes,
it.
ma'am. Yes. Yes.
I love it. But Ray, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. You know what I mean? And you already know, like when your show comes back, like I'll be all up in the comments over there too. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
I'll be
even with
acting a straight fool.
Yeah.
Pulling them
And even
comments,
with
y'all.
that,
Like,
we'll comment on that real quick. Barbara had mentioned, having too many options. And Rye ended up getting into the real estate to support Danielle. So he got licensed as a realtor, if y'all don't know, and they're doing great things out there in South Carolina. Still doing his speaking efforts. He's back in school as well. And then, I stayed in, I think last year we were still mentioning me getting church leadership college. I'm in my second year of that. I've got 4 classes left on my master's. I got licensed as a life. That was one of the business side as far as a life agent, focusing on that piece, building that business, trying to grow that income and clientele. And I'm still doing the good bully stuff, but I filtered off as I started to figure out what wasn't for me when it comes to the coaching and consulting. And now we've got another live event, which came from talking to somebody else about doing theirs, Carl, last year. And now I've got another one in Baltimore on October 26th. And the individual actually, asked me if I'd be the host, but I originally only came on to, like, what do I need to
quarterback.
like, what do I need to do? Let me quarterback. Let me drop some plays. And then he's like, hey man, like I just really would love if you just be the host. Like I see your ability to navigate between conversations, but being able to work with that. I mean, we've got some, one of the speakers is a former NFL player. My guy is also a former professional athlete diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Doctor told him, hey, just take the trip, man. Make sure your stuff's in order. That was 13 years ago. And that's what led him to God and him to Christ. So the conference and about that, his brand is Dog Culture, DAWG, Desire, Attitude, Will, and Grind. And now that's to find when you feel like there's nothing left and you are procrastinating, like you need to dig deep and find that inner dog in you and lean on God when you have nothing else to go for and move forward to get the things that you deserve in life. But all that comes from some of those hard lessons learned that I had to work through in order to get to this position. And we're still not free and clear of all of it. However, we're still moving with purpose. So I love to see this. I can't wait till we have the 2nd anniversary and make this an annual party that we get to do. Yeah. So I love it. But what else? Who else you got coming on? Who else you got coming on?
Oh, hey, this is a family reunion, bro. So I've got Jessica Holly in the house.
Okay.
One of the former guests on the show. So I wanted to bring her back on as well. Yes, Write the Vision.
Write the Vision.
Write the Vision. So, that's the perfect segue. But Ray, thank you so much for stopping by. You know what I mean? We will continue to support you and everything that you're doing as well. You guys make sure, go find him on Facebook. And I want to say on IG, it's Ray's Breaking Formation, like Ray's underscore Breaking Formation.
Underscore. As soon as you start typing the BR, I'll pop up. But yeah, absolutely. Come find me if you can. We do got virtual tickets for that event. I'm excited about it because I'm officially, Carl's event was like, a last minute hopped in as a host. This one is very intentional. I am the host. I will be quarterbacking that thing. So I'm looking forward to. So if y'all can support, by all means, get in. Get it. The recording will be there if you can't watch it live. And if you're in the DMV area, be there in person. Ain't nothing like being in the room with these type of powerhouses in this. It's beautiful. But let me not take up the rest of this space. I'm going to be watching the rest of it. So love you, sis. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see where the rest of this goes.
Appreciate you. All right, y'all. And as I mentioned, I have let me make sure the video is still there. There she be. We saw the journal real quick, the Write the Vision, the journal. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jessica Holly in the building. Let me know if you can unmute your mic on your end. There you go.
I sure can. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the Getting the Win show. Thank you so much for being on. Appreciate you.
Of course.
Yeah. So real quick, man, kind of talk to our audience about how you've grown, how this show has impacted you and the growth you've seen in yourself and in your own content, because you've been pretty consistent with your Everybody Can Go Combos podcast as well. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So Thanks for having me on with you again. Congratulations again on the 1 year anniversary on your first birthday. You lucky I didn't come on here and start singing and with one of those little and a happy birthday hat on and everything. I'm like, you
Everything.
know what? Let me act right in the wings when I come on. So, as far as my growth since you've started the show, it's been quite a whirlwind. That's one. And so I'll take us all the way back to the very beginning when you first started the show, a bit after you and I first got to meet each other in person. And of course, you guys, I completely freaked out when I met Melty in person. Like, look, y'all got y'all celebrities and whatnot, but when I met my good sis in person, I was like, oh my God. And she was like, oh, okay. That's a lot. And I'm like, bring it in. Let's love. But just everything that you've brought to me, and like as we've met each other, worked together, and through the show, it was like being able to get a weekly coaching session with you, just logging on each week, being able to listen to the different guests that you brought in, the different gems that you've dropped for us. And I would say the most impactful thing that I've learned over actually, no, I'm going to say two things. The first one that was most impactful for me was learning my procrastination style. That was something that you delved into for a couple of weeks. And for me, I always thought of procrastination as it's just, okay, you procrastinate, you'll get it done. And for some projects, I work well under pressure. I can get it done at the last minute. Other things, it's like, oh, yikes, probably should have started that sooner. But learning my style and being like finding out that I am a busy bee, and that while it can be a strength, it can also be a weakness and or my downfall. And learning how to mitigate that, to be sure that when I'm procrastinating because I'm thinking about all the things. Here comes the second thing that you were sure to teach and reiterate over time was talking about that brain dump. I got one right here. Okay. Like my pages of like, get it out of your head, write it down. And I'm like, okay, that is something that over the past year, I have revisited it multiple times. Sometimes I have to do it once a month at times when there are different things coming up between building business, building things at work, making sure to keep up with my peer group in the mastermind, like all of those different things, preparing for a wedding, like working on my spiritual journey, making sure that all of the different things that are a part of my everyday life, when you're trying to keep that mental list, sometimes that in itself, at least for me, you helped me to identify that was part of what kind of fueled my procrastination. And with learning from you, listening to you, being coached by you, I was able to sort some of those things out and actually come out with a workable plan that is like, okay, like you have redirected me so many times where it's like, Jess, that's important. However, it is not in fact urgent. And I'm like, you're right, that can't wait. I was just going to do it because it was in my face. So providing that structure to understand what kind of procrastinator I am really helped me to be able to combat it over time. And also it just gave me back just a little ounce of my sanity. If y'all can't tell, I'm still just like, all the time. I am one of those just like happy-go-lucky, excited people. But I can definitely say you helped me to slow down in some of the places where it's needed so that I can get better results.
Absolutely. I just got to spotlight some of these comments. Shout out to LDH. I don't know if you can see it. He said, I can't tell Jess. Oh my goodness. But yeah, y'all. And I so appreciate your kind words, Jess. But I will tell you guys, like, being able to build with Jess is an incredible pleasure because this is her at all times. Okay. Like, this is not Jessica just in front of the camera. This is Jessica all the time. So like our calls are always filled with both structure and with laughter, which I so appreciate. You know what I mean? I definitely, she sharpens me in some of my blind spots, because since I am a grounds crew air traffic controller, I'm predominantly an introvert, and like she'll just like with her extroversion, like I'll be taking some mental notes of stuff that she says, and I'm like, I never thought of that. That's actually dope. You know what I mean? So definitely appreciate you. And one of those, to the quote that I mentioned earlier that Gur shared from ET, like one of Jess's superpowers as somebody that is so high energy, she is phenomenal at ideation. So Jess is somebody who is also, yeah, absolutely. She's an author, she is a speaker, she is a coach in her own right. So if you got some boundary issues and you know that not everybody can go, like by all means, follow her on the socials. And that is the name, whether you're looking for her on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere. Like everybody can't go is the name if you want to find her. But by all means, rattle that off if you want to. If there's an exact spelling.
Sure. Thanks for the shout out on that. And yes, you're right. You can find me everywhere at Everybody Can't Go. On Instagram, Everybody Can't Go at at Everybody Can't Go. The number 2 is where you can find me. And yeah, with getting Everybody Can't Go out to the world, you have definitely been that voice in my ear. It's like, you know, an angel on one shoulder, an angel on the other shoulder, because I'm not claiming the devil on my shoulder. But when you talked about like being that you are the yin to my yang, like when I am up here and I am on 10, Mel's just like, okay, so we're just gonna reel it in. And I absolutely love that, because it definitely helps me on a regular basis. Okay, on a regular basis with getting some things done and getting things done with some structure. Because if it weren't for the structure that you provide, how you were talking about, we get to have some fun and laughs on the call, but we also get some structure. I am very mindful when I'm working with you about how to do something in a way that not only can I be heard and understood, but in a way that will move things forward for the both of us. So I definitely appreciate you. Love everything that you are doing over here. It has definitely been a help for me. And you know what? I'm going to do another shameless plug here, not for myself, but another shameless plug with shout out to you, because as you've come as a guest on my show a couple of times, you are actually one of the fan favorites for those who follow me and are part of my community. At this point, you guys, like Milk Tea is a household name at my crib. Like when I tell you, my sister on a regular basis, she's like, yeah, so how's Mel doing? And I'm like, oh, did you DM her or something? And she's like, oh no, you know, I've been watching her pod and just wondering how she's doing because, you know, have you talked to her? And I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Like, this is completely unprompted. This is literally just from you showing up and being a part of the Write the Vision workshop. And it kind of just, it went on from there. With a handful of people who have consistently come back to me and they're like, yo, did you see her episode this week? Have you talked to her lately? Make sure you checking in with your girl. So you are definitely a fan favorite over here. And you definitely have all the support in the world, of course, from me. Because if you ever try to leave, I'll find you.
She ain't lying, by the way, y'all. She's telling the truth. LDH is agreeing with you.
Always got to make sure you're good, girl. But absolutely. Yes, so I'm really proud that, you know, it's not just, if you can't tell, you guys, I'm hype all the time. So there's you know, a ton of stuff that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a great new thing, and it's like, just calm down. And for you to be one of those people that like, I'm like, okay, so she's awesome. And I didn't have to do the extra prompting. I didn't have to do any additional reminders, just the impact that you brought. and the message that you're giving was something so useful to some of those who are around me and some of the people that are in my life directly, that they're coming back to make sure that we're still in community and to make sure that you're one of the people that that you can go, okay?
Amen.
That it really speaks volumes to me, and I am like really I'm ecstatic. I am so happy for you
Thank you.
with making this milestone. I actually just recently learned as I was making as I was building out my own podcast and making it available on audio platforms. I didn't know it, but most podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. And
Right.
I'm like, wait, no, there's got to be more to this. So when I read the full article, they took you through a couple of milestones where usually most podcasters will drop off. They'll stop producing, excuse me, they'll stop making episodes. And like the likelihood of getting to 1 year as a podcaster is incredibly low, I'm coming to find. And I never would have thought, because like you're one of those people that I'm like, oh yeah, that's the mold right there. Like, of course she's gonna be here a year from now. Of course she's gonna be here 5 years from now. Like, of course the podcast is gonna be a thing. And so it wasn't until I read those stats that I'm like, whoa, like, even though I'm like, oh no, Melty is the bomb.com. Like this is a great
Thank you.
accomplishment of yours. And I just wanted to acknowledge that, you know, bringing in some of those stats and some of those structured details, some of that data, along with all of my just like constantly hyping you up and constantly just, you know, getting on the phone, even when you don't feel like dealing with me. And it's like, hi. And I'm on 10, and for the days that I gotta like dial it back down. But I am so proud of you. I am so happy for you. And I really cannot wait to see what more your pod brings in the future, and all of the rest of the things that you're bringing to us. So I appreciate you.
Yes, hearts, appreciate you. All right. So y'all make sure you follow her on social media. You saw the journal. Ray held it up for you. And Ray is in another state. Okay. He is in Texas and he had a book. So if you haven't gotten a copy of Jessica's Write the Vision journal and you're somebody that needs that, by all means, go order it. It is available on Amazon. So go ahead and get that. Okay. Jess, thank you so much. We will talk soon. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. The interviews and combos continue. And I'm bringing on the gentleman I have dubbed as my twin. Yes, L. David Harris in the building. Thank
What?
Yes.
Listen, I was going to do this, but I changed my mind.
Don't get us in trouble. Don't get us in trouble.
Oh, no. That one's clear. You good.
Okay.
You good.
Cool.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm matching. See? Right
Absolutely.
there. See right there? I'm matching.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. And this brother, like, those shirts are like absolute trademark for LDH. Anytime he's traveling, be kind. I love that. You know what I mean? Love the reminder. But yeah, man, just wanted to bring you back on to get your take on what you've seen of the show, what your impressions have been. And obviously for our audience, if they have any questions for you, to ask you any questions that they've got. Ray shouting you out.
Yeah.
I will shout you out.
Yeah, my peoples, man. And I see your mama. That's good. We up in here, man. So
absolutely.
Yeah, my one observation initially is that you're still here, just like Jess was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's easily taken for granted. Oh my goodness. Easily taken for granted. Shout to the grounds crew. The ground is supposed to be right there. It's not supposed to quake. When you're on an airplane, you're supposed to get your chips, your dips. You're supposed to make sure that the stuff gets where it's supposed to be. And when you're on carousel number 2,
yes,
all of your luggage is supposed to be there. And so in this way, you should be taken for granted, but not taken advantage of. Like, I'm supposed to expect that my sister is going to be right here, continuing to deliver on your promise to bring the very best in these conversations, some of which have to do with like being like against procrastination. Like, so congratulations of you doing who you are.
Thank you.
You're doing who you are, not just what you could do. So good stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Appreciate that, man. Just giving you some shout outs as well. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a mini family reunion. I love that.
Of
Like
course it is.
all the folks. And yeah, make sure you guys don't miss what LDH just said there. Like, yes, you can be taken for granted that you will be there, but not taken advantage of. And I loved it when you shared that, like in the mastermind. I was like, ooh, writing that down. That is so good. Yeah, be taken for granted because you're excellent at what you do. Don't be taken advantage of. It's important to have those boundaries. So yeah, appreciate you for that, man.
Yeah. And so watching you press through those times when you got recommendations, even from me, and we're like, okay, try this platform in order to execute on your goal. She's like, yeah, that one didn't work out. That's usually like the way that people give up. Because there's so much. Like I have made the shift just like you. But I'm back. But like the shift from what would be considered like traditional media, you know, with bigger lights, bigger cameras, more action.
Yep.
You feel me? And then going into when I started in podcasting, it was like, oh, you couldn't get on the radio. You're like, brother, I was on the but right. And now podcasting's a thing. But for you to be able to sort of make this mind shift, this transition that says, wow, there is a platform where we can add value and be literally all over the planet if we choose to be, and there's no system that can hold us back.
Right.
That's a big deal because traditional media has all kinds of, listen, I wish I could name names, but there's some people like Steve Harvey. I mean, like people who have have been pulled, pulled back, and he was already larger than life. But in this space, and I'm imposing this on you. I'm feeling like bullying somebody today. Like,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, making this support concept a leadership or a success principle.
Yes.
You feel me? Like,
yes.
A lot of times support people such as you, structural people such as yourself, like ease back, disappear, and melt into the atmosphere. And it's just like, no, like that's a leadership. That is a success principle, because people who really hold on to the reins of support and structure are the ones who really get why we were on planet Earth when God created us.
Absolutely. And I so appreciate that you started getting into that vein. Like I didn't get the chance to articulate that in the mastermind, but when I saw you sharing those ideas, I said, oh, this is a question or a gap in my soul that I have experienced for like 9 years. Cause I'm like, I know that my superpower is to support people, but God is never wrong. And one of the things he clearly told me was, I am a great leader. You want to talk about speaking things like that be not as though they were. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Because at the time I was in a leadership position, but I was thinking of it from an incorrect standpoint. I was looking at it from like the top of the top, right? When the truth is you can lead horizontally, like you can lead among your peers. You know what I mean? Yes. I was just walking into it. Like he saw where I was going and just called my trajectory. He was like, you are a great leader. So thank you for being the person that is like taking that on as the cause to like excavate and give language to it. Because I think all of us who are support people, we have to understand that we are indeed leaders in our own right. The key is to simply like leverage our superpower.
I'm gonna tell you a secret, right? But you can't tell anybody. Nobody else on planet Earth knows this yet.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like Nobody on planet Earth knows about this yet. But you may recall when we were leading, I was leading in the call the other week. One of the things that I put myself on the line to do was to talk to E about what I needed. And so I talked to him about that today because I don't believe in lying and I do not believe in procrastinating. It's against my religion. Once I say it, it has to be done, right?
Amen.
Despite all of the things inside of me that want to hold it back, right? But what I didn't do was tell him the concept, the principle. So if anybody steals this, I know it was one of your people because this has never been heard before. Are you ready?
Be quiet, y'all.
It's called, just between us, it's called the backbone of leadership.
Ooh.
I need you to walk, but don't run. The backbone of leadership.
That's so dope.
So what I want you to do is envision the leader as, quote, leadership. The one that's overt, like the pilot that's flying the plane, the CEO, the overt leader, like the one you expect. Got it. The backbone is the spinal column.
Exactly. That's us.
You have to be intentional if you're a spinal column.
Facts.
So I'm not going to drill it all here, but what I'm saying is that my purpose in terms of leadership is to help the backbones be backbones and stop playing themselves.
Facts.
To stand up when you have to stand up, like twist when you need to twist, sit down firmly when you need to sit down. Like when it's time to support and send signals and be the communicator between the head and everything else, like that's what you must be, or else everybody dies. Like everybody's paralyzed. So that's all I'm saying. And it's just between us. I'm just saying that's just between us.
Just between us, y'all.
Don't tell nobody. and that's who you are, and becoming both and at the same time.
Amen. Mic drop.
Look at Ray. Look at Ray. Look at Ray. He's swift. Hey, that man's swift. That man's swift.
Absolutely. NCOs and listen, Ray, NCOs are the backbone of any of the branches.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was when I was in the Navy. Like,
you see what I mean? You see what I mean? You see
supply,
what I mean?
Supply LDH. Like without me, folks are starving. You know what I mean?
That's right. So own it. That's my point. For anybody who is a supporter, anyone who is a COO, like a co-something or an associate or an assistant something or someone, you need to own it, because if you don't, nothing moves.
Facts. That's
nothing moves. It's like, oh my goodness. So if I play myself too small, everybody loses.
Yes.
So maybe you don't need recognition, Melissa, but you do need appreciation.
Hey.
I did my homework.
That is an important distinction. Very important distinction. You know, for folks who relish that more so, the flight attendants and grounds crew, people who are more people oriented. Yeah, I love that. May not need recognition. We don't necessarily need a title. Some of us don't care for that. We want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like we get fulfillment by doing the work, but we do want appreciation. Very important.
So may I just say thank you then, since we're talking about appreciate. Like, thank you for not letting go. Like, thank you for keeping your hands on the wheel. And I know that you had life situations like everybody does, but it doesn't really matter if it's everybody when it's you. And so, like, you're still here. Thank God. Like, thank you for still being here.
Absolutely. And on that wonderful note, I will release you to the rest of your evening. This is a very important brother, y'all. That is celebrity / DJ / author / coach / insert every other occupation.
I am the recovering Swiss Army knife. It's not a brand. It's just my reality. Yeah. I don't want to be known as a recovering Swiss Army knife, but I kind of am. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here and celebrating with me. Take care. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Peace. Love.
Love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got one more guest backstage, but we shall see. She might be busy at the moment. But if you guys remember my interview with a very gorgeous young woman by the name of Jenny Rosario de Casiano, she is someone who I had the conversation with who does not struggle with procrastination. She is one of those people that are naturally very self-driven, naturally very structured. Because our conversation, she actually provided some tips on how to organize all of our different priorities because she's great at it. Like, this woman gets more done in a day than I am willing to do in a week. She's incredible. She has quite a wonderful motor, and she has such a heart for God as well. So anything that she's doing, she does with that spirit of excellence while also being just an all around delightful person. Like, you know what I mean? There's some folks that are focused and driven, but they might be kind of terse, for lack of a better word. Jenny is someone who is focused and she gets it done with the brightest smile in the world. Those of you who tuned into our interview, we actually got into her history in pageantry and the way that that also helped her present and how she's been able to use that to coach others, not only to get into pageantry, but also in the business of acting. She's a veteran actress and she's now an acting coach. So without further ado, she is back, the one and only.
You talking about me? Oh my
Yes.
God. What an introduction.
Yes. Welcome
Thank
back,
you.
Jennifer.
Oh, thank you for having me. So first of all, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I feel so honored. And
Absolutely.
thank you. And secondly, congratulations. Happy anniversary. This is a huge accomplishment, girl. And I am so excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And appreciate you and all of the work that you do, not only, just person to person, because you guys heard my conversation with Barbara and with Jess and how we build together. Jennifer and I, we build together as well. And she is an accountability partner for me. Like, there are certain things, certain blind spots that she'll notice in me and kind of bring them to my attention with that bright smile that you're seeing.
Thank you.
So the accountability is easier to take, and I do follow the instructions, y'all. Like, the one key to transforming your life is being coachable. Like, it's one thing to hear advice, but if you're not doing anything with it, it doesn't get very far. So I wanted to definitely give you your flowers as well, Jennifer, for the feedback you've provided for me, the way that you have pushed me to grow and be better and embrace my own voice. Like, you reminded me that I have one and that it's important. So I wanted to thank you for that, because now I'm out here like reminding everybody that's tuning in, like, they have a voice and it's also important. Like, they're luxury items too. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. And again, I'm so proud of you. We've been friends for a very long time now. And
Yep.
yes, we collaborated for like what, 10 years straight, And yeah, I'm like one of your biggest cheerleaders. I'm so proud of you as a person, and as a professional. I've seen you grow so much, and I always tell you, Melissa, I just see you blossoming, right?
Yep.
That's really the truth of what our journey together has been, encouraging each other, because for me as well, you've been such a great accountability partner. We've always worked very well together, just so in sync. And you inspire me as well because you never give up. You are so committed to whatever you do, and you do it with such excellence. I mean, when I
Thank
got
you.
the link to this, I saw that it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, Melissa does not sleep. Like,
Yep.
she's a workhorse. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everyone is so blessed, to be able to watch your show, getting the win, That's exactly what you're teaching people to do. And you bring on such great guests. I mean, such quality professionals that have wonderful advice for people to be successful. And, you know, that's just been the theme of tonight, gratitude and recognition. You know,
Yeah.
you do need to be recognized for your hard work, your dedication, and your commitment to not only growing yourself, but elevating others with you on your journey. And I just love that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you guys, if you are not following her yet, go follow her at The Booking Actor. That is the name of her YouTube channel. And I believe that's also on Instagram as well, right? The Booking
Yes.
Actor.
Instagram, I'm not as active on the Booking Actor. I kind of moved everything to Jenny Rosario because I already have a built-in following there. So I've kind of converted Jenny Rosario to the Booking Actor, and they seem to be working synonymously right now.
Nice.
And I'm working on the app. And forgive me, I look a little crazy right now. I'll give you a sneak peek. I have been, I mean, I was working all day. I had auditions. I've been editing. I've been working on my app.
Yes.
But this evening, okay, so with one hand I was cooking, and then I was running back to the dining room with my sander, and I've been sanding my table zone.
Ooh.
So I'm like, I got a spatula in one hand, and I'll give you and an electric drill in the other hand. Oh, here we go. Welcome to my world.
I love it. I love it.
So
I love it.
I
Yeah.
actually, I can't say the company, but I am a tomboy girly girl. I got both mixed in together, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
that. And I am going to Georgia in 2 days to shoot a commercial for a company.
Yes.
Working as an engineer because my in my audition I used a table saw and I was working in my shop in the
Oh,
garage.
I love that.
It's a
I
good
love
tomboy
that.
this week. And here I am. You've seen it right in my living room, dining room, just doing the work.
Yes. Yes. And that's one of the things that has also been a common through line throughout the whole of tonight. Like each of the people you've heard speak, guys, like they're in their element. They're doing their thing. So shout out to you for landing that gig. I'm so excited for that.
Thanks. So, you know, as the
That's something.
booking actor, that's something I tell actors. Don't fake everything. You know, there's certain things you can fake. You're an actor, right? We're in the business of imagination and pretending and playing for a profession. But when it comes to swimming, sports activities, using power tools, those are things you don't want to fake that you know how to use or do because when you're on set, and you can't do it, you're going to be in big trouble. Or you don't want to cut your fingers off or,
That
you know, really get injured on the job. I've seen actors go to these auditions. One time I did this big production in the Galapagos Islands,
mm,
and they gave us like a long checklist of all the things we had to be able to do. And I was very fortunate with that audition because they actually gave us like almost a week, which is very rare. And I
wow.
think they did that because it was such a unique job. And I'm a very literal person. I'm very honest. I like to under promise and over deliver, not the opposite. So when
Right.
I printed out that list, I had it on my dining room table for at least 2 days and I kept going over it with my pen, checking whatever I knew I really could do. And then there were some things that I was like, I can do it, but do I want to?
Mm,
And so I really pondered over this list for a couple days. Then I called my agent. I said, "Hey, can I still submit?" Oh, she's like, "Yeah, there's still a few days." I said, "Okay, I finally have a check on everything on the list. I'm ready to go." And I booked the job. It was an amazing job. I was qualified to do it. I had to step out of my comfort zone for a few things, but a lot of swimming happened on that shoot. And that's something they asked you in the audition. You know, they didn't have a swimming pool where they said, "Hey, show us your swimming skills." So they just trusted that you could swim and that you were comfortable snorkeling and being around sea turtles and all this kinds of stuff.
yeah.
And I remember walking out of the audition and some actors coming out saying, I lied. I don't know how to swim. I hate animals. I don't want to be near creatures. I won't eat anything exotic. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you here? You can end up in the Galapagos Islands and drown. I mean, and then you can't freak out if you
Yep.
encounter animals on camera, which is part of this project. And so I always tell actors, be truthful, and there are boundaries to what you can fake, you know?
Yep.
For that job, I even took it a step further. I went and got scuba certified just in case we had to scuba dive. We ended up not having to, we just snorkeled, but I wanted to be prepared. So
Exactly.
that's a huge one I tell actors. It's like build your skills. If you like water sports, then do that in your free time and get good at it so that you can do those jobs and not learn it on the job and mess up the production or get hurt, you know. So be honest with yourself. Be realistic.
That's the gem. That's the gem right there.
Yeah.
And L. David Harris said something similar a minute ago where he was saying, you know, do what you are or do who you are.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Do who you are. So I love that. Like I'm super blessed to know and have you in my life, and as well as a lot
Yeah.
of the all the other guests that have been on here. Like these are the people I'm with, y'all. Like I am as sharp as I am because I'm privileged to be around people who sharpen me.
That's right. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jen, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. And again, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Can't wait for next year.
Yes, yes. I can't wait. All right. Take care.
Bye. God bless you.
God bless. All right, y'all. So, as promised, now that we have come down to the finale of all the different interviews, I have a major announcement to make. All right. So you guys have heard me periodically mention, you know, books and the importance of them, especially if that is your luxury item. If if that is your struggle, if you have a message within you and you've been sitting on it, and at the same time you feel that sort of guilt for sitting on it, or you feel an extra push like, you know what, I probably don't have as much time as I think I do. I need to get this done. The great news is Melissa Thomas, your girl, the procrastination bully, is having my very first writers retreat in March of next year. It is called the Spring Forward Writers Retreat. And y'all, the word is retreat because it is a bit of a weekend getaway for you. But in terms of the work, it is a whole boot camp. You're going into the retreat with your book idea or with whatever portion of your draft you have with you, and you're leaving with a completed manuscript. Like you are not coming away with an incomplete book when you leave on Sunday. The retreat is the entire weekend long. So we are getting this work. Like I'll be teaching everything you need to know in terms of organizing your ideas for your book, how to extract key ideas for the book. If you're somebody that you want to write a book, but you're not sure what to write about, maybe you're multi-hyphenate like me, maybe you have a lot of passions. There are ways to get those ideas out. And that is one of the things that I will be teaching. And it won't just be myself, it will be folks that have tons of industry experience. There will be best-selling authors at the retreat as well, sharing their experience and how you can reach their caliber in terms of your book once it's completed. So if that's something you're interested in, the link is in the little bar below, the little ticker there, tinyurl.com/spring forward retreat if you're interested. And accommodations are included in the ticket. So if this is something you're open to doing, you want to carve out that weekend, the weekend of March 14th to the 16th, Friday to Sunday, 2025, by all means, click that link and secure your ticket. And in the meantime, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Hit me up in the comment section, DM me on Instagram at Getting the Win Show over there. You know, let me know whatever questions you have. If you're someone who knows me like off camera, by all means, hit me up as well. I'm happy to answer your questions there. But yeah, guys, I wanted to do an event that provided anyone that is struggling to finish their book that final blast of rocket fuel to get the book done. Because whatever that message is that's within you, God needs that out here for the rest of us to be blessed by it and to grow from it. It doesn't do any good still sitting in you, in your head, in your chest, in your heart. It doesn't do any good there. We've got to get it out here so that it can be used. No, one of the common scriptures that we hear all the time, right? The vision, make it plain. The other half of that scripture is so that whoever sees it can take it and run with it. Like, it has to be clear and it has to be written out. It has to be tangible. For those of us who are familiar with Hebrews 11:1, the King James says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That scripture used to get on my last nerve only because I'm a literalist and I'm like, what does that mean? But here's what it means if you're asking that same question. That substance of the thing that is hoped for is the incremental work that you do leading up to your luxury item. The incremental work that you do is tangible. That is the substance of your hope. You believe that it's going to happen, so you're doing the things to make it happen. That's what that means. And that is what that Spring Forward Writers Retreat is there to do. We're taking the incremental steps to not only give you information and education about what you need to do to get your book done, but we are making sure that by the end of the weekend, you have a completed manuscript. The average book is about 20,000 words. So, like, we gonna get this work. Like, that weekend, we are working to make sure everyone who's in attendance gets their manuscript done. And I won't leave you just with the completed manuscript. We'll also provide you with the next steps, like letting you know, okay, I have my first draft, now what? You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. I'll cover that as well. Because the last thing I want you doing is still holding an incomplete luxury item. The manuscript alone is not enough. It's just the hardest part. Once you get the manuscript out of your bosom, out of your head, the hardest part is over, because now all of it is substantive. All of it is substance. And from there, people can take it and run with it. You can give it to an editor to get it cleaned up. And then you can get all the other fixins, as I'll call it, everything that you need to get it out there into the world and available for consumption. But crafting the manuscript is the longest part. It takes the most amount of time for people, and it's usually the hardest thing for them. So I am here to walk you through that. As I always say, as a procrastination bully, I'm not someone at the top of the mountain looking down at you. I am a few steps up ahead of you, and I have my arm outstretched for you to grab so I can pull you up to where I am and we can run together. Okay. But thank you guys. Obviously, this is way more than an hour. This is a special episode. So thank you for rocking with me for these 90 minutes. MJ, shout out to you for the for the comment. I appreciate that. Love it. Love it. Love it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for engaging in the chat. And yeah, MJ, like there's some pilot in there. Like, once I'm talking about the thing that I know that I talk about, like, yeah, that's when the pilot comes out, because that's when I'm teaching. And it's what I love to do the most. I love to impart information that I know will be helpful to anyone who is listening. So yeah, thank you guys for rocking with me. The link, once again, is below, tinyurl.com/spring forward retreat, if that's something you're interested in doing in March of 2025. And dare I say, for the record, I'm going on record saying this, that particular retreat will not be the last. It is the first. Okay. So absolutely get in if that is something for you. Shout out to all my people showing love in the comments. Ray, thank you so much. Sam, my other day one, thank you so much, bro. Absolutely. See you next week. Ms. Rosalie, thank you so much for your support. Unique, Love you, sis. You are the bomb. And shout out to all the guests that I had on tonight that came in and shared their experience with the show, their experiences with me, and drop some knowledge for you guys, because I love it. You know what I mean? I love it when we all get to sharpen one another and become better versions of ourselves, because quite frankly, that's the goal. And that was one of the things that I shared even with Jessica. You guys heard Jessica talk about, our coaching experience together. One of the things I reminded her in terms of her feeling overwhelmed and doing too much is that God designed us to rely on each other. We are not designed to do every single thing on our own. Those of us who are ground crew, we have multiple talents. Those of us who are flight attendant, we have tons of ideas. So we're multi-passionate and we're very creative. But we were designed by God to be interdependent. So that may sound simple, but I want to lay that reminder out for everybody that is still rocking with me. Thank you so much for staying on as we wrap up here. But I do want to give that loving and kind of bullish reminder. Like, don't saddle yourself with all of the responsibilities. There is a who out there for you. God has provided you with a complement, someone that can fill in your blind spots, or someone that can go a farther distance than you can, even if it is something that you're good at. They can take it further because it's their superpower. You can be good at something, but having it as a superpower is another story. Okay. So much love to all of you. The Procrastination Bully is always here for you. And yes, as promised, I will see you next week. As y'all can see, we are barreling through season 3. Like, we're more than halfway through it. In 2 months' time, we'll be in season 4, if you can believe that. So thank you so much for continuing to build with me, getting this work with me, learning with me, because I am doing this, learning out loud. I am not the expert. I bring experts on to talk about what they know about, right? And of course, I share with you the key lessons that I learn as I continue to progress and continue to bully procrastination in my own life. Because, hey, as a recovering procrastinator, it's not like it goes away and stays gone. It's something that is chronically in my face, but I bully it. And this show is here to help you bully it as well in your own life. All right. So much love to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Love you. Have a great rest of your night. Take care.